Welcome to I'm Your Target Demographic. Today we're covering a rumored movie that might be coming out soon for the Marvel Cinematic Universe called The Inhumans. We're going to cover this in two parts. The first part we're going to cover who are the Inhumans, some of the comic history of these characters, and then we're going to end with what we want from a feature film about them. So here's some history. In Guardians of the Galaxy, Ronan the Accuser is what we call a Kree, which is a species of aliens. And a long time ago, the Kree, in an effort to create warriors, found Earth, and they took people from Earth and essentially tried to create warriors out of them. To do this, they exposed them to something called the Terrigen Mists, which is a crystal that from it exudes a mist, and when you breathe it in, it kind of creates mutants, almost. So it gives these people special abilities. So the Kree had this planet that they were kind of creating warriors, whatever. For some reason, they left. And now all of these people have kind of evolved into a society where everyone has these unique powers. So they are called the Inhumans. So the king of this society is someone named Black Bolt. And Black Bolt, his power is that his voice is incredible. That he can, with a whisper, destroy an army. With a shout, he could destroy a planet. So he is the king of the Adelon society. When he was born, his crying was so powerful that they had to put him in a soundproof isolation chamber until he was 18 years old. So when he came out of that chamber, they kind of crowned him as king, but he never speaks. He ended up marrying another Inhuman named Medusa. Medusa often translates for him and tries to gauge what he wants to say, so she conveys those things for him. Her power is that her hair kind of acts as additional appendages on her body. So like she has 8 more arms. She can grab things, she can do intricate typing, she can pick locks, she can punch someone. Her hair is kind of her power, and it's incredible. Next up we have 2 brothers. The first brother, his name is Triton. When he was put into the Terrigen Mists, it made him into an aquatic being that he could only survive underwater. So his family, to not have that happen again, begged that their second child, Karnak, not be put into the Terrigen Mists. So to compensate for that, they put him through physical training to become an excellent warrior, and so now he's able to see an opponent and find their weakness. He can look at a structure and find its weak spot. So he's able to analyze and strategize and always see the weakness in someone, either physically, psychologically, physiologically. He can always see the weakness. Karnak appears often in the Inhumans, where Triton, since he's bound to water, is not around as often, but lately he has developed technology that allows him to breathe outside of water, but it's a very high risk for him. Next up, we have a woman named Crystal, who is Medusa's younger sister. Crystal's ability is to control the 4 basic elements, so fire, water, rock, air. She can control them all. Crystal is notable in the Inhumans because she is the first person kind of in the royal family to marry outside of the Inhumans. Somehow the mutant Quicksilver ended up in Adelon, and they met, they married. Very strange for an Inhuman to marry a human, but they did. Didn't last very long, and they got divorced, but still notable. Hopefully something that would be cool to see on the big screen now that we have both Crystal and Quicksilver in the mix. Or maybe we won't. Then we have an Inhuman named Gorgon, who is actually the son of Korath, who is played by Jimon Hunsu in Guardians of the Galaxy. So his son is named Gorgon. Gorgon's ability is that his legs were essentially transformed into the legs of a bull. So he has kind of big hooves, and he's able to create seismic earthquakes by stomping on the ground. He's often seen as a warrior. He trains the young Inhumans in how to use their abilities. He's the one that always charges into war. He's kind of the army general in this society. Probably the most interesting member of this crew is a dog named Lockjaw. Lockjaw is able to teleport through space with anyone that he wants. So he can kind of take a group of people and he can teleport either from Earth to the moon, through to another dimension if he wanted to. He is the reason that they're able to travel around the galaxy. Interesting note, Lockjaw is a member of the group called the Pet Avengers, which also features Throg, which is Thor the Frog, that I talked about in my last video, who's worthy to wield Thor's hammer Mjolnir. So Lockjaw and Throg are both part of the Pet Avengers. And now what is usually the villain in the Inhumans stories. And it's Black Bolt's younger brother Maximus. Or Maximus the Mad, they call him. So Maximus, being the second brother, wanted to be king, but Black Bolt, when he came out of his isolation chamber at 18, became king. So Maximus is, of course, jealous. So he's often trying to get Black Bolt to get reincarcerated. So he'll try to get him to say something to cause devastation and put him back in prison. He's trying to trick him into causing devastation. He also has had several storylines where he's trying to create treaties with the Kree or with other alien races. So he's often selling out his own people for selfish gain. Maximus's power, he hid his power until he was an adult. So he's able to coerce and manipulate the thoughts of others, so semi-mind control. So he's often able to get what he wants, he's very manipulative, but they may not know that they're being manipulated. So those are the main players. Now the tricky thing here is to not think about them like a team. Because the Inhumans are really just a society. It's a group of people that all live together. Their allegiances may change. So Maximus may serve with them, he may fight against them. Gorgon often might side with Maximus or not believe that Black Bolt's doing the right thing. So it's kind of a quirky family that's sometimes dysfunctional. So their allegiances might change, but they're always Inhumans. Now let's talk about what an Inhumans movie might look like. The tricky thing here is that this story is very similar to the story of Thor and Loki. So the movie would need to be different enough that it doesn't look like, oh, it's the strong brother who's going to be the king and his younger manipulative brother that wants to take over and get rid of the king. It's gonna look like that. The thing that they need to play here is to get rid of the Earth component. A lot of the first Thor movie was spent on Earth, with him becoming humble and whatever, becoming worthy of the hammer again. But in Inhumans, I want to see a movie that's set entirely in their civilization. Every other movie so far, even Guardians of the Galaxy, had someone that we can experience through. Even though Guardians of the Galaxy took place in a far distant planet, whatever, we had Peter Quill. We had music that we knew. We had that relation to Earth. The Inhumans, I just want to go in and see their world. There are stories about how the Inhumans came in contact with Earth. Mostly it involves a Fantastic Four, which they couldn't use because Fantastic Four is owned by Fox. But I don't want to see those stories. Maybe eventually, if the stories ever cross, then we see the Avengers come in contact with the Inhumans and Crystal and Quicksilver fall in love. That'd be great eventually. But the first movie, I just want to see set entirely in Adelon, about their struggles and its political intrigue, and maybe it's like an invading force and they have all these incredible powers. I don't think we need Earth in the equation to make a good movie. Now, as you've been seeing from all these pictures, they sometimes wear ridiculous things that really they don't have a purpose for. They don't need to look like superheroes. So I hope they downplay the outfits a little bit, and you can disagree with me, but I hope it just looks like this is their civilization that they live in, and Black Bolt happens to have this incredible voice that can destroy planets. I don't need to see him in skin-tight spandex. I hope they downplay it and make it look realistic that this is just what they wear as a civilization. The Inhumans also provides an opportunity to tie into the TV show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. In the first season, there were some mysteries about a blue-skinned alien and where they came from, and who are certain characters, and there's some mystery. And it's believed that one of them is more than human. So this could potentially bring the Inhumans into that world and give us a chance to see some other people that have incredible powers but maybe aren't ready for the big screen. I don't know what they're going to do, but it's a cool opportunity to involve both the Kree, the Inhumans, kind of this political outer space drama, but bring it to Earth. The TV show, I don't mind that, but in the movie, I hope that we don't see that. Does that make sense? Anyways, what do you want to see from an Inhumans movie? Are there other storylines you know about? Are these stories you even know? Does this excite you, or would you rather see another Captain America movie, or pre-existing stories, or would you rather see new stuff like Guardians of the Galaxy and like Inhumans? Let me know. Also, make sure you head over to imyourtargetdemographic.com. I write a lot of movie reviews, I talk about video games, I talk about other stuff just like this. So make sure you go there, subscribe to my channel below, and feel free to comment. Let me know if there's other things you want me to talk about, other movies that are coming up, things like that. So thanks for watching.